Have you ever stood in front of your closet and had absolutely no idea what to wear, even though it's completely filled with clothing? If so, you are not alone. This overthinking and overwhelm when it comes to getting dressed can lead to decision fatigue. And that is not any way to actually have your wardrobe support the life you live and feel effortless and fun and easy to wear. So today I'm going to talk about how to overcome decision fatigue for once and for all. So this idea of kind of being frozen or stuck in the analysis phase of getting dressed is something that most of us are familiar with. And if we're not familiar with it and identify with it in the closet, we probably have seen it in the orange juice aisle or the toothpaste aisle, where there are just too many choices. In the world of fashion, currently, there are way too many choices. We have the entire internet at our fingertips now, as well as physical stores that are producing an enormous amount of merchandise at an outrageously quick pace, keeping up with the trends that are shown on the runway. And we really, truly have so many options that it allows us to feel very frozen and stuck and have this sense of analysis paralysis where we cannot take action because our brain is so overloaded with possible choices. So today we're going to talk about what to do about that. If you're not familiar with me, I am Kristen from Kristen Kane Style. Welcome. I'm so glad you stopped by. I am a style and mindset coach, and I pay attention to how to put together an outfit. And when I work one-on-one with clients, that's definitely something we focus on. Yet I am much more fascinated by the mindset and what is happening in women's brains with regard to their style and what holds them back when it's time to actually get dressed. And so I coach here exactly like I would if I was working with you one-on-one. Most of my time is spent working one-on-one with clients. However, I love this community and I love being able to create videos that will hopefully help women who maybe aren't ready to work with me or who maybe will never need to work with me, but who really, truly need a little bit of coaching on some of the topics that I cover here. So I coach here like I would if I were working with you one-on-one. So instead of showing you how to put together an outfit, I really want you to understand what's happening in your brain when your closet is full of clothing and you stand there feeling really stuck and not sure why you feel so frozen and incapable of taking action to put together an outfit with the pieces that you rarely wear. And so that's what I want to talk about today. And I want you to know, if you're new here, that this is what happens on this channel. I am coaching to try to get you to understand what's going on in your mind and how it's preventing you from creating the style results you really want in your life. Overthinking when it comes to getting dressed often can lead to this idea of decision fatigue, where when you've made too many decisions, certainly I remember this back when I worked in the wedding industry, in events planning, where a bride has made so many decisions by the time she gets to her big day. Part of the work of the wedding planner or the event space, coordinator would be to make sure that they knew what decisions were most important for her to make that day and which ones to delegate, which ones to eliminate and take off of her plate, because there was no way she could enjoy her day and be fully present if all day long she was having to make decisions. So many in a wedding, many of those decisions have been made in advance of the actual special day, but certainly on the day, there are some decisions that need to be made. And in order to have the bride actually be able to enjoy her day and not feel stuck in indecision, if someone were to approach her and say, well, do you want to do it this way or this way? She could, be very likely overwhelmed and overthink it and not be able to enjoy what came next. And so in the closet, it's the same thing. If you have too many options, if your closet is overwhelming from a standpoint of being, too packed together with stuff and you haven't decluttered, or the pieces just don't really go together, or you don't really know what you want to look like when you get dressed, all of those things can lead to overthinking, and that overthinking leads to decision fatigue. And that decision fatigue is really just kind of the overwhelm and exhaustion that you feel when you keep trying to make a decision with too many choices that are not actually, in wardrobe's case, supporting the life that you want to live and supporting the style you want to create. And it's stressful and draining. It kind of tanks your mood. If you've ever, let's say you were going to go out with friends and you started to try to figure out what you were going to wear and you just felt completely overwhelmed by all of the choices and not really knowing if you were going to make the right choice in your pairing to create your outfit for this special night. So by the time you have tried on 10 different combinations and they're strewn all over the room, you kind of feel like just putting your sweatpants back on and getting back in bed or cozying up on the couch. You really don't even want to go out anymore. That is decision fatigue. That is where, or you want to wear a different outfit on a Monday, but you haven't really decided what that's going to look like or what pieces you might want to include. So you open your closet and you're faced with all of the choice, and it just becomes too overwhelming, and you get kind of frozen and stuck in, what if I make the wrong choice? What if I put the pieces together and they don't end up working? What if they're not comfortable all day? And then you resort to the lazy go-tos, which are the pieces that you have already decided about. You've made a decision about those lazy go-tos, which are usually kind of the low-hanging fruit. You know they fit, you know they're relatively comfortable, you know that they work for you all day. And so you wear them on repeat because that's easier for your brain from a decision-making standpoint than actually getting in your closet and doing the work to edit and organize and make new outfits and try new things and see what's missing and then go to the mall and make the decision to buy the new jeans, to buy the new shoes. All of that is exhausting for your brain, and therefore you tend to gravitate towards those lazy go-tos on repeat, even though they don't make you feel amazing. But you think, well, I already know this works. It's easier for your brain. Your brain has already identified that decision has been made. I know that those jeans and that top and that sweater and those shoes work together, so I'm just going to keep wearing them on repeat. And there is nothing wrong with that, unless when you open your closet to get dressed, you have lots of thoughts about all the other stuff that's in there. Because if you're not wearing those pieces because of the overthinking and the decision fatigue, then the lazy go-to isn't really an intentional choice. It's a default choice. It is the easy choice because the decision about those pieces have already been made, and that lazy go-to outfit works. The actual goal here is to create enough of those outfits work, and to create a wardrobe ultimately of pieces that work together, so that there is no decision fatigue because you think, I want to wear red today. Oh, I know that those red tops all work with these bottoms, and so I can just mix and match and pick and choose. It kind of creates the concept, the idea of a lazy go-to in the rest of your wardrobe. It takes the decision fatigue out of getting dressed because you've done the work to make what works about the lazy go-tos work in the rest of your wardrobe. And so just fundamentally, the reason that this happens, the reason that we suffer from decision fatigue is because our brain kind of only has the bandwidth for so many decisions in a day. And I'm certain you can think of examples in your own life, whether it's, I find that this kind of creeps up when I'm moving to a new house, and we just moved several times over the last year. And so when I move, then there are lots of decisions to make. Which cupboard is going to get the glasses? Where am I going to put the Band-Aids and the first aid things? Where am I going to position the bed in this room? What am I going to do about, whatever? There are so many decisions to be made in the process of doing something like moving houses that by the end of the day, your brain is just kind of mush. You're so exhausted that you think, I can't make one more decision today. For me, it usually shows up in, I don't want to make one more decision today. I don't want to have to decide what to eat for dinner. So somebody order pizza or somebody order sandwiches, because I can't make one more decision. It's the exact same thing that's happening in your closet. If you're not utilizing what's in there for whatever reason, likely part of it is the act of deciding. Your brain has decided that feels exhausting, so it's not, or it'll try for a little while. Okay, I'm going to go in and edit my wardrobe. I'm going to go in and do the work of decluttering on Saturday morning. And by the time you get to lunch on Saturday, you're like, I can't make another decision. I am so overwhelmed. I'm just going to stuff everything back in and be done. We want to work with the decision fatigue and understand that it's going to happen. Then we can overcome it and not feel it when we open our closet and it's time to get dressed. I want to share 2 tips for overcoming this decision fatigue. And there are lots of ways to do this. And I just want to really clearly and concisely offer 2 options, 2 ways that you can begin to overcome the idea that it's just too overwhelming. I can't make a decision. I'm going to wear the lazy go-tos. And the first one is to declutter your closet. Plain and simple, get in there and declutter so that when you open your closet doors to get dressed, you are not faced with something that just feels insurmountable. And the decisions, the interesting thing about this, and the reason that the mindset is just so fascinating to me, and I find it to be such a crucial piece, the most important piece really in creating a sense of style that you love, is that when you open the door to go to get dressed, before you even actually really truly consider what top and what bottoms you're going to wear together, or what color you want to wear that day, your brain is already starting the chatter about everything it sees. So it is taking in all the information and it is making judgments and telling you stories about every single item in your wardrobe and the state of the closet in general and the piles on the floor and the kind of hangers and the paint that maybe needs to be touched up and the dust that's on the shelf. It is already starting the noise. And so since our brains, as amazing as they are, they get tired when it's already had kind of a full range of chatter that you're being bombarded with. It's really hard to then quiet that noise and say, okay, now I'm going to pick a great outfit. It's much easier to say, I'm going to wear the thing that I know works that I wore last Tuesday. Again, nothing wrong with outfit repeating, but if you're defaulting to that lazy go-to simply because that chatter and then looking at all the options creates that decision fatigue because the overwhelm and the overthinking is just too much, that's when you want to look at, okay, it's time to declutter. It's time to get in here and clean out the things that are the noisiest. Clean out the pieces that every time you look at them, you have a story that comes up that doesn't feel good. Well, I spent a lot of money on that, but I never actually wear it, or that doesn't fit me anymore and I'm going to lose 10 pounds and then it'll fit. Or that's for my husband and he loves that color, but I don't actually love that color, but I can't get rid of it. Or well, all of that just keeps happening and it leads to that exhaustion in your brain that makes it very difficult to put together an outfit you actually love if you haven't done kind of the pre-work of decluttering your closet so that the pieces that are in there actually work for your lifestyle and your today body and you know how to wear them together. So clear out anything that doesn't fit. And when I say anything that doesn't fit, I mean anything that really truly is not going to fit again. Certainly I understand fluctuations in women's bodies and I understand that that can happen within a day, within a week, within a month. So if you are living in a body that fluctuates in its size and in what's comfortable pretty regularly, certainly keep all of the different size ranges. I suggest separating them so that you know, okay, here's how I'm feeling today. These are going to fit so that you're not, again, being bombarded with that extra mental noise of, well, you can't wear that today because your stomach's bloated, or you can't wear that today because whatever. You really have just corralled the pieces that will work in that circumstance in one place. And then you have the next section of clothing that'll work for a different set of circumstances in your body. So that you don't have to get rid of anything. You don't have to edit those out, but you need to organize them again so that you are quieting the noise that can contribute to that decision fatigue. So that the noise isn't taking over before you even get to the choice of what to wear that day. Create physical and mental space in your closet. Get rid of the things that don't fit. Get rid of anything that's damaged. I'm not a firm believer in get rid of anything you haven't worn in a year because I have some things that I haven't worn in a year, but yet invite me to the right party or have the right circumstance and I'm going to pull that sweater out or that skirt out. So I believe in vintage clothing and in thrifting cool pieces. And so I don't believe fundamentally that if you haven't worn it in 6 months or a year, you must get rid of it. Style self-trust is learning, do I want to hold on to this piece because I see that I do wear it a few times a year, or I want to have it for such a circumstance that might be upcoming, or am I really just holding on to it to contribute to that clutter and that noise? Style self-trust is beginning to learn that for yourself so that you can edit your wardrobe and actually have the pieces in your closet that are working for you right now. And then the next thing I would suggest, tip number 2, is create a capsule wardrobe. And before you tell me, Kristen, I could never wear a capsule wardrobe, that would be so boring, I don't know how anyone does that. I want to mention that if what's happening right now is you open your closet and you don't know what to wear because you're so overwhelmed and it leads to decision fatigue, and that leads to you wearing the lazy go-to item that is the easiest, lazy go-to outfits that are the easiest for you to repeat and put on again, you are already wearing a capsule of those lazy go-tos. You are wearing a capsule of the things you've already decided work for you, even if they're not your favorites right now. You've already decided they work for you, and that is the capsule you are wearing. The statistic stands that women tend to wear 20% of their clothing 80% of the time. 20% of what's hanging in your closet is a capsule wardrobe. So I am not suggesting that you get rid of everything. I am suggesting that you begin to build a capsule that is like those lazy go-tos, but they're actually pieces that you want to begin incorporating into outfits, that you're expanding, if you will, that idea of these are the outfits that I just keep repeating because I get so overwhelmed and I tend to overthink it when I open my closet, and that decision fatigue sets in and I'm just kind of stuck in the indecision and in analyzing whether or not I'm getting this outfit right. Pull out a capsule of pieces you actually love. They fit your today body. They work for your life circumstances, and begin to play around on a Saturday afternoon making outfits. Make 2 outfits, make 4 outfits, make a week's worth of outfits. Work up to a bunch of outfits. Ideally, work up to a whole closet where everything works together. But start small. Don't overwhelm your brain by saying, okay, now I'm going to create a capsule wardrobe for the next 6 months. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about create a capsule wardrobe for the next week. Pull out some pieces you really love that are different than what you've been wearing just on autopilot, and create outfits with those pieces so that and put them in one spot, hang them together so that when you open your closet to get dressed the next time after doing that work, you're not overwhelmed with all of it. You instantly can hone in on, right, I collected these pieces, I created this little mini capsule, and I know that I can play with that. And the decision fatigue and the overwhelm and the overthinking and the frustration is eliminated because you're not looking at the entire contents of your closet. You've straightened up what's in there, you've edited out what isn't working and you know you're not going to wear, and then you've pulled a few pieces together to create this small capsule. And as you practice that and become really comfortable wearing those pieces, begin to pull in more, begin to extend your capsule so that you have maybe added a couple colors, maybe added a couple sweaters, maybe added a different pair of pants or a different pair of shoes or a couple new accessories, and keep playing with those pieces and keep it's sort of like folding in eggs, right? Folding when you make batter, when you bake, folding it in. You're little by little bringing in what else could work in this small capsule. You're not pulling all of it together and deciding, okay, now I need to make outfits out of this newly decluttered closet. That's still going to create the decision fatigue and the overwhelm and the overthinking. Instead, start small and pull in a piece or two every week. As you get good at wearing the pieces in your capsule, expand the capsule a little bit. And I find the best way, because some women will then say to me, I don't know how to build a capsule. How do I even begin to choose? I have way too much, and it's kind of overwhelming to even think about a capsule. Start with a color palette. What colors do you want to wear for the next week? What colors have you been wearing? Do you want to continue wearing those and incorporate new pieces into that lazy go-to capsule that you're already wearing? Or do you want to try some fresh colors? Wow, I haven't worn pale blue in a while. I haven't worn pink or orange or yellow. There's a new season. Maybe I should try a more, seasonal color for right now. Start with a color palette. Pick some colors that work together that you like and limit them, 2 or 3 colors, and work with that to start, and focus on versatile pieces. Focus on pieces that are easy to layer. Focus on pieces that are easy to leave untucked or front tucked, depending on how you wear your tops. Focus on things that are the right length to wear with things over them, things that don't have big puffy sleeves if you're ready to put on sweaters or blazers. Focus on pieces that are versatile. This is a great time to pick out the basics and the solids, some t-shirts and some jeans or some classic trousers or some easy dresses. Focus on the pieces that are versatile, that you can wear in multiple ways and that you can play around with so that you can create new combinations. And then use accessories just to have fun, so that you're not feeling like, okay, your capsule could be all t-shirts and jeans, and then you could just change your belt or your necklace or add a scarf or change your shoes every day and begin to experiment that way, so that the only thing you're really deciding on is the shoes or is the belt. You're changing one element, but you're keeping, you're kind of doing an experiment, literally, and you are changing one element of the equation, so to speak. So maybe you are keeping the top and the bottom exactly the same and changing the accessory, adding a blazer one day, adding a sweater one day, adding a different kind of belt or a different kind of shoes. Actually allow yourself to play with the kind of the fun, different pieces in your wardrobe by keeping with this base capsule where the pieces all work together. There are so many benefits to this work of simplifying your style and eliminating the overthinking and the overwhelm and the decision fatigue. And I'm just going to mention a couple. The first one is that there is so much less stress. Your brain can just relax because it's not overwhelmed by the choices. You've given it a task. It knows, I'm going to pick from this capsule you created and we're going to make the outfit work. It takes away the overwhelm and the overthinking and the decision fatigue because you've focused in on, I'm going to work with these pieces for this week, this 2 weeks, this month, however long you decide. So much less stress, much more time and energy. You have taken out a chunk of your day where you or your evening or whenever you're trying to get dressed, where you have been standing there just frozen. I don't even know what to do. I don't even know what to do here. And the thoughts are swirling. You should be able to figure this out. You had a closet for a long time. How come you can't keep it organized? You're such a failure. Like that noise takes time and energy out of your day. So when you can get a handle on this and quiet that decision fatigue, it's so much less stressful. It allows you so much more time and energy for other things because getting dressed becomes easy. You can get on with your day so much faster. You can get out with your friends so much faster. And the other benefit to this is It creates more conscious shopping. It allows you to be a more conscious shopper. As you pull pieces into your newly created capsule from your decluttered wardrobe, you begin to really understand, what pieces do I love? You're focusing on fewer pieces at a time instead of looking at your entire closet and trying to make decisions. And so you really start to get clear on, I actually really love stripes. I actually really don't love stripes. I actually really love pink, and I haven't been wearing pink, but I'd like to find the pink in my wardrobe that could still work. And I'd also like to now shop for things that are pink. I actually don't like wool. It doesn't feel good on my skin. I'm recognizing that now that I'm actually wearing the wool sweaters that have been buried in my closet. So now when I shop, I'm not going to buy wool. Wow, I realized that I'm pretty happy with this smaller capsule. I actually don't need to shop for a while. I'm just going to use what I have and get really clear on what's missing so that when I shop, I can do it with intention. I find that I hear back from clients that they are afraid that working with a stylist, a style coach, one-on-one will lead to more shopping, and that is not what they want. And while style therapy, there is a component of style therapy that is me helping you source pieces that you've maybe been looking for a long time. There is no shopping required, and many of my clients don't do any shopping in the process of style therapy because they have so many clothes, and we are really trying to identify what's going on in their wardrobe that makes it feel overwhelming and is leading to this decision fatigue that's not allowing them to get dressed and just get on with their day and feel great in their clothing. So more conscious shopping is such a beautiful byproduct of really getting clear on, what do you already have and how is it functioning? And oftentimes you have plenty and don't really need to keep shopping, even though the old version of you prior to doing this work felt like the problem would be solved and you would open your closet and be able to get dressed easily if you just had the right pieces, and therefore you kept bringing more pieces in. And then I just want to share 2 client examples because I see this idea, this concept of the overwhelm and the overthinking and the decision fatigue so often. And I have 2 women who stand out in my mind. So one is actually a mom of younger kids, and she was really feeling this and could really tell that it was preventing her from feeling good when she headed out, when she got dressed for the day. And it was preventing her from really enjoying what she was doing with her kids because she was always stressed about her outfit. There was always this kind of overwhelm and this feeling of, I need to get home so I can declutter my closet because whatever happened this morning, I don't want it to happen again. But then it would happen again because she never really had time to declutter her closet because she was taking care of her children. And so we worked one-on-one in style therapy, and by doing the work to really help her get clear on how to prevent this stuckness and this indecision and this decision fatigue when she tries to get dressed with the wardrobe she had. We did the work that I coach on here, and she was amazed at how easily she can now get dressed and how much more fun she's having actually getting dressed. She's not wearing the lazy go-tos, and yet she gets dressed quickly and easily in clothing that supports the life she lives so that she can leave and go do whatever she needs to do for and with her kids. And it's allowed her to just feel more joyful in the process because, first of all, her wardrobe supports who she is and how she feels and wants to show up at this stage. So she feels good when she gets dressed, and it doesn't take much time and energy because everything works together. So she's not spending a whole lot of time and feeling guilty about the fact that she's not, playing with her kids or, doing whatever she needs to with her kids because she's stuck in her closet trying to figure out what to wear. And it's allowed her to just feel better showing up for her life with lots more time and energy to do the things she wants to do instead of all the stress about the closet. And then I have another client who really truly loves to travel, and one of her biggest sticking points and biggest style struggles was not ever knowing what to put in the suitcase when she would travel. And it became such a problem that she would kind of push away invitations from her spouse about going away, kind of for a quick weekend getaway. She really resisted it to the point where it became kind of an issue in their relationship, where it was so overwhelming and she got so stuck in the indecision and never felt like her wardrobe ended up supporting her when she was on one of these weekend getaways that she really just didn't want to go. It was too exhausting to try to figure out what to put in the suitcase. And so after our work together in style therapy, she recognized that she had largely the wardrobe she needed, but because of the excess and the thoughts she was thinking and the overwhelm she was feeling as a result, she really wasn't able to decide quickly what to put in her suitcase. But once we addressed that and she was able to shift her mindset and change her thinking and understand what habits and practices would support her when her husband invited her to go away for the weekend, within as soon as we got to this part of style therapy, She was amazed at the fact that, oh my gosh, he invited me away for the weekend, and literally within 45 minutes, I had my bag packed and was ready to go. And even her husband mentioned to me how much of a change that was from where they started. And he also at that point shared that, he was really reticent to have her work with me as a style coach because he didn't want more clothing in the closet to make the whole thing. He didn't see how working with a stylist, which in his mind meant more shopping, would make it easier for her to get dressed and go on a trip. And yet she still shops, and she knows what to buy and how to say no to something and how to say yes to something. And then once it comes home, she knows what to do with it. And when he asks her to go away for the weekend or for a 3-week trip, she understands how to pack a bag effectively because she has the style self-trust that makes that effortless. And she goes on incredible trips with incredible outfits, and it all works. So regardless of your circumstance and your situation and what's happening that's creating this style struggle, it is possible to overcome it and just get on with your life and really enjoy how you look and feel in your clothing without all of the drama and all of the mental chatter. I would love to hear if decision fatigue is a thing for you, how you feel when it's time to get dressed, if your closet overwhelms you, if you tend to wear the same thing on repeat because it's easiest and it takes less mental energy than trying to pick an outfit out of your cluttered closet, or even your organized closet that just feels overwhelming. Drop your comment below. I always love to hear what's happening in your wardrobes and how this applies to you. If you would like to work one-on-one with me, style therapy is the way we do that. Style therapy will truly change the way you feel about your wardrobe and your style and yourself. It is a completely comprehensive program that is proven. I have so many clients who have changed their relationship with getting dressed as a result of going through the style therapy program. So if you'd like more information, there is a link down below that'll give you all the details. And if you would like to hop on a consult call, there's also a link below where you can book that as well. I would love to chat with you and help you decide if style therapy is a good fit. If you're not already following me on Instagram, I am over there at Kristen Kane Style, and I share things over there in just kind of a shorter format. So I'm on stories and sharing things about, all things behind the scenes in my world and outfits and answering questions that my clients have, and also that folks are over on Instagram DM me about. But I answer in shorter form over there. So come follow me over there. It's a fun place. This video up here, if you'd like more info on becoming a better shopper, you can watch this one next. I hope you have a really, really beautiful week. Thank you so much for being here. I'll be back next Friday.